watching this Canadian trucker thing, sort of in a background way. The same place I put, well, not the same place, but the same kind of way where I run a lot of experiments. I run them in the background, check in on them once in a while. I do that with a lot of events, current events, you know. And that one's unfolding in a really interesting way. Like, it looks like it very well could be a trap. And the cynical side of me, of course, who's seen these things a bajillion times, kind of feels like it probably is. But just because something is set up to be a trap doesn't mean it's going to go off. Because a lot of these retards that run these things, these intelligence agency guys, they're not the G-men of the past. They're a lot dumber and a lot more incompetent. I don't know what that has to do with. Maybe hiring practices at agencies might have something to do with it. You know, once they change from an excellence-based thing. I don't know if that happens in government at that level, but I'm pretty sure it must in some way. But they're just not, they're not up to snuff, you know? I mean, there's a reason some of these memes exist, because, you know, they're true. These guys just aren't super good at what they do. Back in the day, I mean, we can see what the ones they did back in the day, like, because we have the context of now. And it's not just because they do such a shitty job now. It's just that we can see things now, as I talk about here all the time. Veil falling, the reality simulation machines breaking, the cycle is coming to an end, and an age is coming to an end at the same time, which has never happened before. The beast is dying, yada, 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 all that stuff. So we're seeing a lot more things now through eyes, more knowledgeable eyes. But back in the day, like, there was no question about some of that stuff. It was like, oh yeah, that's the absolute truth, you know? They were pretty competent at what they did. These guys, oh man, it's such a clown show every time. The first one of these things that I was fully awake for, I guess if you want to use that term, was the school one. See, I can't even say the name. The school one in Connecticut. I watched that unfold live because right away I picked up news about the happening as it was going down, and what I was watching them do was introduce possible narratives to the story. Like at one point, and what they do is they set these people up as part of the whole thing. You know, they had 3 guys up in the woods. They had this one guy that they arrested, they put in a car. So that what they do is they create all these alternative narratives so that if they want to go in any certain direction, they can. You know, so I was watching it happening in real time, and they're just not good at what they're doing. You know, I mean, it was a mess. And even all the hired people, you know, people make a lot of a big deal about these crisis actor schools, like the one in Colorado and stuff. I don't think that's where they get people from. I think those are just there as like a red herring, pissed on breadcrumb type of situation. These people are in the families. And that's why you see the same people all the time. You know, these unlucky men and women that happen to be at every single event. You know, it's like, that lady's at the Boston bombing too. And she was at Columbine. And she was, you know, it's like, I don't think they can trust outsiders to do this kind of stuff. So you figure, there's 13 families, right? I don't know much about that whole thing. There's other guys that know a lot more about it that are could tell you more about the families, but they interbreed. and they're pretty big. And, you know, occasionally you'll see something like that, like on a normie sort of TV news show, they'll be talking to a president, like Obama or something, and they'll be like, you know, I found out you're related to Dick Cheney, and everybody has a laugh about it. And then, oh yeah, and George Bush is a third cousin. It's like, yeah, and everybody has a laugh about it. These people are related. Actually, speaking of Barry, the other night I did a video about, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, the street kind of grift thing that goes on here. And I was underneath over by the parking garage. The restaurant above me, he was actually in there with Big Mike, having dinner as the same time I was doing that. Pretty funny. Not that it matters. I would never even go try to take a look at that. I don't want to be in the presence of that kind of evil, you know? Sometimes you just gotta let people go and get way out of you. Or else you're gonna... Nonsense is like it's like a vortex. You'll get sucked into it, you know? And I don't mind kid nonsense. Like, kids are fine. These kids are just messing around. They're little kids. But, you know, it's when the adult nonsense is going on. I just steer completely clear of it. People just looking for attention, man. It's sad, man. This place is very much like a daycare with palm trees. It's just, look at me, I wet my pants. I wet my pants, I shit my pants. You know, it's like, never seen so many people looking for attention. And this is coming from a guy with black lipstick. Look at that, man. Dude, come on, all right, I can't. See, I can't watch other people's kids because when you're a parent, I think you just kind of, after a while, you're just like, look, if what's going to happen to them is going to happen to them. I can't watch them all the time. But I'm not a parent, so when I see, like, kids doing dangerous shit, like almost walking into traffic, my fucking heart stops. Like right there, I mean, the bus almost fucking nailed that kid. But the dad can't have eyes in the back of his head, you know? He can't watch. He can't see that going on. And you really have to watch those little things, like 24/7. Because they're always doing something. I'm trying to get through this. There's a lot of people out tonight. But, yeah, it's like the trucker thing. It looks like a trap. I mean, we've seen so many of these things. But there have been some interesting developments. They backed off on a couple of the things. The government, I guess, backed off on a few things. But I don't know. I think it's good overall because it maybe gives some hope to other people in other places. But the thing that freaks me out more than the government trying to be tyrannical and draconian are the people that support it, man. That's fucking nuts. Like, I don't even understand that. And I think that makes the best case for a lot of people being just video game characters. Because how could you support that kind of thing? I mean, here there's a lot of people like that, but they fucking love it. Oh, almost died. They fucking love it here. Like, they wear they'll double mask up. You know, they get face shields and they get giddy when there's a lockdown. It's really weird. I don't know what that's all about. It kind of goes against what you would think a normal person would kind of want for themselves. But then I think it ties somehow into victim mentality, because victimhood has become such a virtue and victimhood's like a superpower to a lot of people in this day and age. So I think maybe being locked up in your own house and under these measures and mandates just give you some kind of like victimhood thrill. Like, oh yeah, we're all going through it. I mean, I admit it is a good excuse for a lot of things. And I can't say that I didn't enjoy the first major shutdown we had because no one was outside. It was great. I could walk anywhere I wanted to. You didn't have stuff like that going on. It was just me and like a couple other people just going about our day. It was great, you know. No tourists. I mean, I understand you have to have tourism. I mean, there's nothing else here. There's no other way to generate money here. There used to be a lot of stuff that they grew or made here or farmed here, but that's all been outsourced, taken, shut down. We have a lot of dull pineapple presence here. We have the old canneries, which are like a movie theater shopping mall now. And there's up north, there's like this tourist thing, a dull kind of, it's like a dull, I don't know, it's an amusement park, but it's not really. It's not an amusement park. It's more like I don't know, like a store that's outside. There's a hedge maze. It's like a tourist. It's just a tourist attraction. But what it makes people think that Dole cranks anything out here. They don't. You know, you can go into a store over here, and the watermelons from Mexico, they don't produce anything here any longer, except for tourism. So you need tourism. The problem is you don't need as much tourism as we have. We have too many tourists here. That's the thing. You know, because you got to look at it as, when does the amount of tourism start to become a problem with living here? You know, when does it become a deficit? Well, they don't care about that because the people making money don't live here anyway. So they don't give a shit, you know? You think Marriott cares if tourism impacts the lives of the citizens here? No. And even within the Islander community itself, like the people that were born here and lived here for a long time, I almost said Hawaiians, but there really are no Hawaiians. Just like Islanders, Pacific Islanders. They always have someone in their community who has some kind of, some kind of power, where he's sort of like a leader in the community. He always sells out. He always sells his people out. And that's been going on for a couple hundred years. And that's why I think that's what grows resentment from a lot of people here. You know, they've had their culture sold out. They've had their sacred sites sold out. It's because it's not just the government or financial interests trying to get this stuff. Well, they are. What they do is they usually go to prominent members in the community who will then turn to their people and say, hey, listen, guys, you know, look, guys, I know this Captain Cook guy seems a little suspect, but he's got these really shiny ship nails. I don't know if you've seen them, but they call them ship nails. We have a lot of women, okay? I mean, I have 6 wives. I don't need 6 wives. and that's kind of where it began. They just find the corrupt people who are willing to lead their people off a cliff in exchange for some ship nails that are shiny. Very shiny. We've never seen anything like it. And that's what happens, I think, a lot of times. But yeah, it's interesting to see what's happening with this Canadian thing. I heard Antifa's up there, but whatever. Oh no, hide your barrels. Antifa's in town. Better bring those garbage cans in. You know, the only scary thing about them is that they have, you know, they have the government on their side and in their pocket. But yeah, before I had that fallback there, almost had that fallback there, I was talking about how crazy the people that love slavery are and how numerous they are. They love their submission, they love the lockdowns. Those are the people you gotta look out for. Because whenever I've had a problem for not wearing my mask correctly or something like that, the government, it wasn't the government here trying to start a fight with me in my elevator that they actually not going to follow through on. It was some fucking busybody fucking asshole neighbor. It's never fucking Fauci out here telling me, hey, pull up your mask. It's some unhinged white woman. Do you know what I mean? It's like the people around you are the ones that are going to enforce the tyranny for the tyrannical, because it's top down. You know, if I have if I have staph infection or something and have to go to the emergency room, but they won't let me in because I'm not vaxxed. Well, the government's not doing that. It's whoever the orderlies are, who's ever on staff during that shift. Those are the people. It's designed that way, so that to escape the sort of tyranny, you have to kind of turn on your own neighbors and the people in your community. That's how it's designed. And people are resistant to doing that, obviously. But the way I look at it is, these people can say they're just following the orders. And, that didn't work for the Nazis. Remember that? We didn't like the Nazis. And that just following orders thing became a meme. Well, this whole thing is just following orders. And all of a sudden, it's okay. So do we owe the Nazis an apology? I mean, I think we do. But, I mean, do we as a people, In your head. Yeah, those are people that are going to mess with you. Every time I've had problems, it's some rent-a-cop security guard. And this is what happened here, anyway. I'm sure it's a lot of other towns, too. The mall cops feel like they got bumped up to cop status. The cops feel like they got bumped up to military status. And just regular assholes behind the counter at fucking GameStop feel like they got bumped up to security guard status. And a lot of these people have never had any kind of power or control whatsoever. Even like a hall monitor kind of status. So they're fucking psyched to be able to tell people what to do. So you have all that horse shit to deal with, And again, it's top down. So the people that are most going to be getting you static about it are the lowest ones on the totem pole, who shouldn't be able to tell anybody what to do anyway. But I know people are hesitant to, in a lot of times, to turn on their neighbors, or whatever. But if your neighbor is gonna fuck you over, you gotta fuck them back. I may die from loss of blood, but Janine says I can't come in without the jab, and Janine's got 2 kids, and she's just trying to feed her family. So you have to die? No. People got to get over that thing, because you're gonna have to. Because Janine isn't acting in good faith. She's representing evil. I think you're morally in the right to argue your position there. You never want to. The thing is, you can't advocate for violence against anyone. Because if you try to hurt someone, you lose. Evil, it's like the fucking Emperor in Star Wars. When you hurt people because they're fucking evil, they gain more power, and you lose fucking everything. So you can't physically hurt anyone in this instance, because it's gonna hurt you more than them. I always get caught in these sort of clusterfucks. I'm not jumping in there. I let everybody go first. Yeah, people will crawl up your ass here if you let them. That's why I smoke a lot, because it keeps people away from me. It works too. When the days I don't have not the days, the moments I'm not smoking, I feel someone's breath on my neck. I have a fucking Chinese guy trying to fucking Yoda me, you know? It's like, dude. Yeah, this has turned into more rambling nonsense than usual. So, I'm gonna head out now. I try not to get upset about the kind of shit that's going on in the world right now. It's my fault, though. It's like you you don't have to focus on it. If you give your energy to it, it's stupid. And I find myself doing that a lot. I just really have a problem with injustice. And real injustice, not like social justice injustice where, you know, if you don't give turkey basters to lesbians, you're a literal Nazi. Not that kind of shit. I mean actual injustice. Got nothing against church.